be here in, like not be here as an observer, not being here as a witness and being aware of everything, but be here by being fully, fully in it. Samyama. Welcome to the Sahaja Collective podcast. We are Kirsten
and Dave Das.
And we are meeting today to look into what's ahead of us. A big cycle is coming to a close, like we're coming towards the end of a big period of shedding, of deconstruction. And there was a lot of focus on this process of deconstruction, of letting go, of leaving behind. And what we're sitting with lately is how to meet what's coming. So this is a conversation that we want to share that just comes out of our discussions that we lately have about what we want to do or what we are doing to meet the requirements of the time and to be in a place of centeredness, joy, and soul connection. So we are here to share our insights. So the first one that we feel is really, really so essential and is directional also for what's ahead is follow your joy. Devdas, do you want to take us into the space?
In a weird way, you would think that follow your joy would be sort of something almost that you don't need to say, and yet it's so nice sometimes to have a reminder and almost a permission slip, if you will, that we can just allow our joy to unfold. Recently I've heard a lot from a particular spiritual lineage about following your excitement. And I feel like following your joy is so much more powerful than following your excitement. It's not because there's not some excitement in the process of joy, it's because joy is a little bit more inclusive. If I think about, kind of, this is my joy, it's like, no, it's not my joy, it's everyone's joy, and it includes everyone. And there's something beautiful about the inclusiveness of joy. But also, if you think about the state of the soul as Satchitananda, ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss, that bliss part, like joy and bliss, they're just so. And then it's like, okay, if you're really deeply, profoundly in touch with your joy, in some way it's almost like you're also deeply and profoundly in touch with your soul. Like something is expressing itself from the deeper aspect of who you are. And that's just such a joy.
Yeah, and I feel also very much what comes in, follow your joy or follow your excitement, maybe. What it points to is like, follow this, what really makes you come alive. I'm just lately hearing so much feedback of people feeling frozen, people not feeling actually being connected, joyful, alive. And I feel we're coming out of a period where we do things well, where we do things according to best practices to get really good results, like this surface optimization, I feel is now taken care of by AI. So that's not our job anymore to invest our energy into that, but actually what it creates space for, and what's really important for how we move through life is actually like to be alive, to follow our joy, to follow our passion, to actually find our path by aligning with what's most authentically us, basically.
Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, I feel one of the joys in a weird way of the yoga practice is that it's inviting full participation in life. That like there are many kind of spiritual traditions that are sort of like don't touch anything, don't do anything, definitely don't do anything wrong. And it's sort of like no, 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 no. Fully allow yourself to be inside of the beauty of the experience that's unfolding in every moment, actually. Like that's the power also, is like, okay, it's not so much what will come tomorrow, what will come in the kind of I was going to use the words mythological future. But, you know, full participation right now. And that's such a stable and powerful and joyful space, actually. Like if I fully participate in whatever's happening moment by moment, in a weird way, I've really lived. Like you've really lived the fullness of life. You've experienced the fullness of life. You've allowed yourself to, come in. And I feel like in many people sort of think that they're fully participating and then later realize they're not, even in something like devotion or even in something like a relationship. Like, it takes a certain courage to love fully. If you really allow yourself, like, no, I'm just going to fully love without any sense of kind of like controlling or restraining that experience, that takes tremendous strength. It takes tremendous courage. I was just the other day so touched. I was on a mentorship call with someone, and it was such a beautiful call. And, she was saying, I feel this love when I'm in the space of prayer, when I'm in the space of meditation, this overwhelming love. Like I know I'm just loved beyond imagination. And she's like, and then I come out into the world and it's hard for me to share that. And I thought, wow, that's like a very powerful recognition, actually. It's like, you receive this love, you receive this joy and abundance of the stillness and silence of your being. And then there is kind of almost like a learning process of then how to bring that into the experience of life. And the most beneficial way, in a weird way, to bring that into the experience of life is full participation, active participation.
Yeah, there are a few points which are really powerful, I find. Like, life seems to speed up, and definitely there's kind of this feeling of like, did I really live? Did it not just like pass?
It
Because
just
it's so,
happened.
yeah, because it just happened, and because it's so fast, and I feel times are speeding up in a way that the volume that we pack into a time frame gives the sense of time speeding up. And I feel this is so much asking us to come out of sitting in beautiful states of meditation and really bringing that into life. I feel now is really the time to walk the talk, kind of to bring that into action. Why? Because to feel at our fullest and to be as alive as we can, like participating in a way that we are really not only as a saying and witness to the moment, but to be fully in it and there with all our heart, with all our energy, our body, like full participation to a point that there's no distance, kind of to overcome distance and separation by being just 100% committed and in
Beautiful.
and available.
Beautiful. I mean, even as you were sharing in the beginning, this thing of time speeds up because we put too much in it. Like yoga has such a tremendous intelligence of the honoring of Shakti. Like, and Shakti is the seasons and the cycles and the slow unfolding. And there's such a magic actually in the slow unfolding. I was just feeling as we were getting ready for this podcast into kind of like the cultural landscape that most people live in. And the cultural landscape that most people live in is more is better, as much as possible. Like, no, more than that, you know, and maximize return. It's sort of like if you maximize return enough, you minimize life. That's just such a violence, actually. And there's such a freedom and beauty in the re-embrace of the slow cycle. You know, the season change. And that really is the territory of Shakti. Like that's the divine feminine aspect. And it also, I was just giving a class on Shakti for something that's coming out soon, and I was just feeling like there's also an imbalance in the way that we worship in a weird way. It's like we worship more, like we worship at the cult of maximum result, and that then reflects as worship of the kind of spacious, unmoving, and not the embodied, slow, seasonal movement. And
Yeah, it's like I feel shifting from optimizing the surface to actually optimizing or maximizing the aliveness.
yeah, that is so beautiful that you said that just that way, you know. Kirsten and I were the other day at this fancy place, and we bumped into a fairly well-known Instagram yogi who happened to be there. And he was also working out there, and he was doing this like, kettlebells, like ridiculously strong. And it was just like, wow, I'm not so sure it felt, and maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like it wasn't for health, it wasn't for well-being, it wasn't for love, it was for show. And, that is in a weird way a very unsustainable practice. It's like if your practice is discovering the elements of you, it doesn't really need to show much to anybody. And it's certainly not doing things for display. Like it just is its own reward.
Yeah, in a fun way, I feel almost this is kind of a gift of the AI development that kind of we don't have to polish the surface anymore because there is so much surface polishing going on and to a level of perfection that it's boring. Yeah, so basically, what's actually
Interesting.
more interesting, exciting, is like what makes me alive.
Yeah.
And that's probably not sitting in the gym for hours and hours and polishing my surface.
Mm.
Um, because, like, I feel that's coming a bit to an end and something new is opening.
Mm. Mm.
Something new is opening that, yeah, allows us or brings us back to actually more the internal spaces,
Yeah.
but not internal locked away in the cave or in the bedroom or in the meditation, but like this internal spaces lit in inside of the movement of life, of the movement
Shakti heard the
of
movement
Shakti.
and she's dancing, she's dancing, she's dancing. And I feel like that ties into an important point of the yogic philosophy, which is that like yoga is not a system that's designed to make you outwardly look a certain way, you know, a certain like I saw a teacher, a yoga teacher teaching in our area recently with these like absolutely defined perfect six packs abs. And I was like, those definitely didn't come from yoga practice. That is just not really happening like that. But what can come from yoga practice, which in my world is so much more beautiful, is rigging your system to a natural state of the overflowing of the love and joy that's present in your heart. Like, would that be something worth putting your time and energy into? It's like, it just returns so much, actually. Like, I would almost say it's shocking the potential levels of return on that. And yet, much of yoga in the world that we are living in right now, there's no energetic alignment or practice in it at all.
Yeah.
Like zero. You wouldn't be doing anything to align yourself energetically or come into this super abundant state of presence and joy and love that we were talking about earlier.
I feel like it's a very interesting point. Like at the moment, I feel we are a little bit on a turning point of yoga. Yoga was so much expanding and became so popularized. And I feel right now we are at a turning point where actually yoga comes to a bit of an exhaustion and it starts dropping kind of the popularity of yoga and other things take its place from pilates to gym to biohacking to like different modalities and I feel yoga is right now tipping because of the surface orientation and there it just doesn't perform as well as maybe other modalities would. So I feel now it's also really time to bring the soul into yoga. It's time
Yes.
to acknowledge and experience and include and teach the different levels of um, who we are and through that kind of yeah, inviting people into the well of their originality. in a way. Like it is this discovery on each level of who we are, and that's really so opposed to optimizing anything for the future. It's more like an um, making inventory, like seeing with what we are sitting on all levels, like what are we here with physically, and how can we bring that into a harmonious state. Also here, like more looking into the depth than into the surface of the physical. Do my cycles work well? Do my systems work well? Like, do they really support uh, the flow of life? Are they optimized for life force to move on an energetic level? Like, what is that actually? And to start to hear, listen to, see the flow of life force moving not only through the individual but kind of through spaces, through other organisms and other beings, and there to see what actions, what support to provide, um, to invite life force to really flow fully and express fully in what we are. Our emotional life, our thinking, like how do we think, like what do we think, like is it healthy? Is this in a balanced and good state? And if not, um, what can we change? How can we reorientate to bring that into balance? And the soul, is it here? Like, is it present? I was so inspired lately, seeing somewhere written, if it's not for God, it's not worth doing. And I felt that's a really good inquiry or question to carry through the day, and to pause and see like what's happening and what is that for. Like, is there the depth in it? um, is there full participation in where I'm at right now, what I'm doing right now, in the most mundane activities? But like, is is God present? Is this service? Is this aliveness? Yeah, so this is yoga. Like this is, I feel, what yoga is asked to share now.
Yes.
Like I feel like this just physical, do some stretches and some, core training and back strength and hormonal regulation and beautiful, but I feel it's exhausting itself, and yeah, it's time. It's really time to bring in all the dimensions of who we are.
Wow. It's so powerful. You're sharing. I love this thing about seeing the energy not just within this system, but also as it moves through the broader systems. Like the profound interconnectedness of life is factual. Like it just is that way. And the profound interconnectedness of your own being and all of the levels of that is also factual. Like that you are here, that your energy body is here, that your lower mind is here, that your higher mind is here, that your soul is here, is abundantly obvious. And that's why we named our work Sahaja. It's like, it's natural. It's as natural as anything else. but you can obscure it with strong belief. Like, I believe I'm not connected. Look, there's the evidence over there. I did something wrong yesterday. It's like, is that a stronger evidence than the fact of the profound interconnectedness that's constantly at play in every single moment, that's producing life all around you, all the time? Like, whose testimony will you take? Whose testimony will you believe?
Yeah, playing right now, or like already for a bit, with this contemplation, not really in meditation, rather in pauses, or when I'm just lying down or stop. Um, what would be here if there would be no past? Like what I am without my past. I'm just feeling into that, basically, into what is here if there would be no past. And that's exactly what you just point to, kind of like the belief. The beliefs can be so strong about anything, and when they are strong, they are reality.
Yeah.
Um, and at the same time, when you just step a little out of the box that the reality box that the belief and the mind created, so fast, it's like so evident that it is not a system of truth, like that it's faulty. It's a system, the mind system, the belief system works beautifully when it's kept in the box. Then kind of it makes all sense, and it proves itself, and there's evidence that this is the reality. But as soon as you step out of it, you see the faultiness of the whole system. And yeah, I think this is what we need to do, like to kind of really pull ourselves out of this faulty system by being fully participative in what's happening in life, and through that, basically, overcome the past, the beliefs, the mind reality as the given reality, only which makes us feeling separate. And this feeling separate, feeling not to participate, is what makes us feeling not alive, feeling frozen, feeling disconnected, feeling life is passing without us being actually in it. A sense of missing out, or a sense of regret. And I feel all that's needed is to be here in, like, not be here as an observer, not being here as a witness and being aware of everything, but be here by being fully in it. Samyama.
Hare, Hare. You know, as you were sharing, I feel like recently I've really seen, it's going to sound maybe like a strange thing to say, but recently I've really seen how much kind of like belief can frees your energetic structure. Like, you know, like even the kind of like past way that people would think is like, okay, if you're going to be a yogi, you have to be perfect. Like everything has to be perfect. Every decision has to be perfect. Every situation has to be perfect. Every answer has to be perfect. It's like, if that's your thing, you're just going to walk through life like this. Like, don't touch anything. Don't make any mistake. Don't do anything wrong. It's like, whoa, God's just not that unkind. You're absolutely allowed to express yourself. Not only are you allowed to express yourself, only you can come to your origin point. Like, they're understanding the Big Bang now, that it didn't come from one point, it came from all points at once. That's also the condition in the human being. It's like the divinity is playing in all points at the same time. And that's why there can never be any mass awakening. It must be you. Wake up to you. And there's something in the beauty of this being your unique origin point, through which you discover the unity beyond form.
That's in a way, like, on one hand, so freeing. Like, there's no path of anybody else that you need to bring to perfection in order to come alive. So that's so freeing in a way. Like, there's, like, it's you and your discovery, and at the same time it's also such a responsibility. Like, you cannot piggyback on systems, you cannot really piggyback on how others walk the path before you, or on, like, set ABC teachings, and after C you will be here. But it's really like a moment to moment inventory, like, to see where am I at, what's working, what's not working, how to adjust, how to live up, to allow life to fully express and flow. And in this way, like, this call to being original, I feel, is really really strong. It's like, on one hand freeing, and on the other hand also, like, really calling calling us to to be responsible, be in full responsibility for our life, all of it. Like, there are genes, there's upbringing, there is circumstances, but yes, it's your responsibility to respond to that and grow according to this very, very unique individual path, or molding or flowering, growing into our soul nature. And I feel that's so inspiring. I feel that's so inspiring, like this freedom, this total freedom, meeting the responsibility.
Mm. And in that, also, in a strange way, knowing that you're profoundly supported by life itself, and also by Sangha.
Mm.
You know, like I really feel in our Sangha, it's like everyone is finding their own origin, and yet this kind of like love and support that goes out in between, to me, makes all the difference, because in that journey there's going to be times that are like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, and then it's like, okay, someone's right there. Poof, let's go.
Yeah, so what we came to feel is really that what's becoming more and more important is to tend to life force and to tend to our soul. Like, I feel this is really the turning point. If we start orientating our lives towards life force and towards yeah, finding the play, the song, finding our soul song, and to start really living by that. This is where things start shifting, and this is where, or what's necessary, I feel, to meet these times, to not be overrun by the pace, by development, by expectations, by the falling apart also of the world, by the destruction that's all around, by the disasters, like on so many levels, like environmentally, politically, like the world is in a funky place, and and to not drown in that, I feel what we can do and have to do to not drown in that is really to come back into the full acknowledgement of life force and soul.
Beautiful. As you were saying about the soul song, I was feeling like some beings will discover their soul and they'll immediately start dancing and singing, and others will just into silence. But the one who's silent is singing, and the one who's dancing is dancing in silence.
Yeah, so making space for that is what will be, what is, and what will be of more and more importance. Um, do not get lost. And this is something I feel I personally really want to prioritize fully in my life, and the day-to-day actions, um, and everything. Like, I feel even practice can be optimized to really more have that in the foreground of what's happening. Like, I feel it's really time to step out of systems and to come into our originality, and to live up to our requirements. Of course, that's a process and that's some work to really be um, present and to keep ourselves in a condition to be present enough to understand what's happening with our life force, to understand when we're stepping out of grace and how to step back into grace. But I feel this is really what's needed for what's coming, like to be clear in our day-to-day actions, to be clear, crystal clear in our practice, to be crystal clear how to be direct and spend our time and energy, to be selective on what to take out of our life and what to allow into our life, in terms of like every aspect, from friendships, relationships, community connections, work, family, like what's happening in our family life, um, what does self-care look like. um, it's really touching every aspect, um, to align um, with the essentials, life force, and so on.
In some ways, it sounds so easy, and in some ways, it is so easy. It is what's happening. You're just aligning yourself to what's already here. Mm.
Yeah, so these are our latest contemplations on, yeah, how to be prepared for what is happening at the moment. And yeah, we really felt to share that with you. Like so many questions are coming, and yeah, we hope this gives some orientation or inspiration of how to prioritize. Um, yeah, that's a big topic. How to prioritize correctly in order for the soul to sing.
Mm. May the power and the glory of the divine shine through you into your life, into your community, into your family. And may that light shine so brightly that others also begin to see it within their own heart. Om Shanti.